Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're taking a look back at Outriders and new WorldSlayer 2.0 review, meaning my opinion, how the gameplay stacks up in 2023, and I'm going to provide you with a comprehensive review of Outriders game and its status in 2023. If you are new here, on this channel I cover a wide range of topics that help viewers get more information of gaming news while also the one and only destination for all your gaming needs. I strive to create relatable content that is backed by science and tailored to meet the needs of my amazing audience. It is important for me to create informative, inspiring content that can help shape the lives of those who watch my videos. If you have been following me for a while or you are a brand new viewer, I am looking forward to sharing content that encourages, motivates, and uplifts my viewers. If you like what you see, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to get notified whenever I post new content. Also, feel free to head over to my other social media accounts to get even more information and to get the scoop on the latest updates. Outriders is a third-person shooter RPG game created by People Can Fly and Square Enix. It was released in 2021 and instantly gained attention from gamers worldwide who were impressed with its unique gameplay, stunning visuals and captivating story. At first, Outriders was widely praised by critics and players alike, with the initial gameplay offering a fresh and thrilling experience. The game was touted as the ultimate co-op experience, combining RPG elements with FPS shooting. However, it wasn't long before the hype surrounding Outriders fizzled out and the game started to be taken less seriously as time went on. So, Outriders is a title that posed itself as an alternative to the standard online shooter. Somewhat campaign that deserved your time, compelling mediocre storyline, build crafting that mattered right out of the box, and an endgame that was accessible on launch day, and they delivered all of this in spades. Featuring some of the most ambitious build crafting imaginable, with perks, talents, and a class system that pushed you and your biological sledgehammer to the point of player power fantasy overload, PCF found that sweet spot ratio for compelling combat loops and they hammered that concept all the way to the last second of the game. Outriders wasn't a game that relied on in-game purchases or hundreds of hours of grind time to find the fun, it nailed that minute one. Listening to this testimonial, one would wonder where Outriders went so wrong. What did it do to contribute to its own demise? Well, outside of that compelling combat and gameplay loop, pretty much everything else is underneath the water dwelling down beneath to waste. Outriders was a perfect example of what can happen when the complexities of a game outside of the game itself become too much for a studio to handle. To truly appreciate the magnitude of Outriders' launch, one need only look at the initial player counts on Steam, which hit an all-time peak of over 125,000 concurrent players. 2 years after Outriders was released, in 2023, the game was practically deserted. It had become a ghost town with very few players actively playing. The servers were almost empty and there was virtually no engagement from players. This was a sharp contrast from the initial hype and multitude of players that the game enjoyed at launch. This doesn't even include platforms such as the Epic Store, Xbox Game Pass, and PlayStation, which all had Outriders available to play on day one. We all know that Steam charts may not give us the full details of player base, but it is a short way to measure how the performance of a game. Out of the box, Outriders was able to outperform some of the most well-known and established franchises. People's Republic of Poland-based studio People Can Fly, known for smaller titles such as Painkiller, Bulletstorm, and more recently chapters for Gears of War and Fortnite, experienced an overnight gaming success, but it was quickly overshadowed by the technical nightmare that followed. From the moment Outriders went live, it was plagued with technical gremlins. Server disconnects, server offline for maintenance, and other janky infrastructure issues were the norm, not just for the first few weeks of the game's launch, but for its entire lifetime. Things went from bad to worse when login bugs started popping up, trapping players in perpetual loading screens and eventually leading to full inventory wipes. Some of these issues were eventually corrected, but the thought of grinding for 50, 75, or even 100 hours only to have your entire inventory of weapons and gear erased was a nightmare. Matchmaking was also a major point of contention, as People Can Fly had elected to utilize peer-to-peer connections, and cross-platform players reported frequent disconnects from parties, massive lag spikes, and items like player abilities simply not working while in party. The dichotomy within Outriders could not be more evident. Intoxicating, visceral combat loop versus one of the worst technical performing games on record. People Can Fly attempted to revive the game back into a state of functionality, often making odd choices both in terms of scope of changes and timelines. Yes, the shooting and combat and cover borrows heavily from Gears and The Division and Destiny, but it's made unique by the altered powers and the very distinct and unique character classes. Skill tree and abilities have lots of depth, and I love the fact you can respec at any point for free, encouraging different play styles. Of course, loot and the associated crafting and modding is almost Destiny cloned, and it's very satisfying. You're literally having loot thrown at you, and it's a great way of managing it where you can swap out mods on different guns, armor pieces to match the style of play that you're going for. Just weeks after the game's initial release, and still in the area of technical hell, People Can Fly announced huge balance changes were incoming, effectively nerfing many of the class nodes and abilities. This was odd timing considering the circumstances, and completely counter to the studio's loud profession that Outriders was not a live service game. Now, it may not have been, but there were certainly strong indications that the game at some point in development was trending in that direction. Within weeks of the game's initial first launch, players had actually reached the endgame content. Many players can relate to the exasperation of spending countless hours in endgame content only to be rewarded with meager returns. It's no surprise that there are communities dedicated to helping players complete these challenging expeditions. The game is designed to be excessively expensive and time-consuming. Furthermore, the mod lock system makes it almost impossible to acquire the gear you desire without relying on luck from the RNG gods. It's evident that the game needs to be more balanced and rewarding, and it would be beneficial to allow players to reroll gear stats or equip whichever two mods they want. This would make the game more enjoyable and accessible for all players, and would be a much-needed enhancement to the current system. However, all hope is not lost. Outriders is reportedly working on a big update that could change the fate of the game. We'll have to wait and see if that update is enough to revive the game or if Outriders remains a ghost town in 2023. That said, there are still plenty of mysteries surrounding the game, and many people ask what the best build is when it comes to the Outriders game. Well, I have the answers, and here are the top 5 facts no one knows about what are the best build in Outriders. Number 1. The best way to customize your character is by utilizing skill trees. You have 3 different skill trees available to choose from: Pyromancer, Technomancer, and Trickster. Each of these trees offers different abilities and attributes that can be used to create a truly unique and powerful build. Number 2. If you're going for maximum damage output, focus on the Pyromancer class. Pyromancers are all about dealing huge amounts of damage, and their abilities can be used to turn any fight into a battle of the elements. Number 3. Don't overlook the power of the Technomancer. This class is all about using gadgets and deployables to control the battlefield. While not as damaging as the Pyromancer, a smartly used Technomancer can easily devastate the opposition. Number 4. Remember that the Trickster class is all about mobility. They can dash sideways and use their powerful time manipulation abilities to their own advantage. This can be especially effective when it comes to escaping tricky situations. Finally, number 5, Outriders' gear system allows you to greatly increase the power of your character. The gear system adds a unique layer of customization that allows you to tailor your character to your own individual play style. By using gear mods, you can greatly increase your damage output and survivability. So there you have it, the top 5 facts about Outriders game no one knows about the best build. That's all for my review of Outriders in 2023. I hope this has been informative and helpful. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.